The Martian sun rose slowly over the red plains of Ethan Calloway's ranch. Frost glistened on the edges of his solar panels, and the wind carried a faint scent of iron from the distant cliffs. Ethan, the solitary owner of the largest ranch on this part of Mars, stood outside his main barn, brushing dust off his boots. The ranch wasn't like those on old Earth. It was massive, automated in many ways, but still required a human hand for the trickier tasks. Ethan preferred it that way. Machines were precise, yes, but they lacked judgment. The kind only humans could provide. He had built a life of routine and solitude. For years, he had kept to himself, tending to his livestock, genetically enhanced goats that could survive in the thin Martian air, and small herds of hardy cows that produced more protein-rich milk than any Earth breed. No visitors, no distractions, no surprises. Just him, his animals, and the vast Martian landscape stretching as far as the eye could see. On this particular Christmas morning, Ethan was humming quietly to himself as he checked the temperature of the barns. He had always liked Christmas in his own quiet way. Decorations were minimal, a small hololight tree in the corner of the main hall. A few lights along the barn's edges, but it reminded him of home. Back on Earth. He didn't miss people. The noise and constant chatter of human cities had never suited him. Solitude, he thought, was freedom. And then came the sound that shattered it all. The faint whir of a small hovercraft. At first, Ethan ignored it, thinking perhaps a stray supply drone had strayed too close to his property. But the sound grew louder, closer, until finally, a small craft came skidding to a halt at the edge of his gate. Two figures tumbled out, twin girls, no older than 10, their small spacesuits covered in a layer of Martian dust. Their helmets reflected the rising sun, making their wide eyes sparkle. They looked around nervously, then ran toward Ethan. "Excuse us, sir," one of them called, her voice bright and urgent. Can you help us?" Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Help you? With what?" His voice was calm, but his eyes were suspicious. Visitors weren't normal. On Mars, visitors were rare, and most of them had business or trouble in mind. The other girl, nearly identical to her sister, stepped forward. It's for Santa," she said. "We need someone to deliver it. We tried. But we can't. Only you can do it." Ethan blinked. Santa? He had not expected that. He looked at the small package the girls carried. It was wrapped in bright red and green, but unlike ordinary gifts, it had strange markings glowing faintly on its surface. Lines of light ran across it like tiny rivers, pulsing softly. "Why me?" Ethan asked, crouching slightly to meet their eyes. The first girl's eyes widened. "Because humans always find a way. We tried the drones. We tried the AIs. They can't do it. But you can." Ethan frowned. He didn't know what to make of them, or the glowing package. Most Martian kids knew better than to wander alone, especially with unknown cargo. Yet there was something earnest, almost desperate, in their faces. Something he hadn't seen in years. "All right," he said slowly. "Let's start with the basics. Who are you? And why do you need me to deliver a package to?" "Santa? I'm Lila, and this is my twin, Lena," the first girl said. "Our dad. He worked for the Interstellar Gift Program. He passed away last year. This was his last project. He said it had to reach Santa. And, well, we can't do it ourselves." Ethan studied the twins. They were small, fragile-looking, but their eyes held a courage he recognized, one that reminded him of himself when he first came to Mars years ago. Their determination made him pause. No machine could replicate that kind of resolve. "Why me?" he repeated, curious. The second twin spoke this time. "Because you're human. We tried everything else. But only humans can figure out how to deliver this safely. You're clever. You care about solving problems. Machines don't. They just follow rules." Ethan felt a small smile tug at the corner of his mouth. Clever, huh? Maybe that was true. But even cleverness, he thought, required patience. and patience was something he had in plenty. He gestured for them to follow him inside the barn. "All right," he said. "You explain this package to me, and I'll decide if it's worth risking my Christmas morning for." The twins exchanged a quick glance and nodded, their faces lighting up. "Thank you, sir." Inside the barn, the soft glow from the package reflected on the walls. Ethan reached out, hesitating, and as soon as his fingers brushed the surface, the lines of light shifted, forming symbols he didn't recognize. A soft hum filled the barn, vibrating gently under his hands. Lila gasped. "See? Only a human can make it respond." "Samdak." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "That's new." The twins explained that their father had designed the package to interact with humans only, as a test. No AI, no alien courier, no drone could unlock its mechanism. It was clever, yes, but it was also strange. The package contained energy cells, coordinates, and instructions encoded in a pattern that only a human could interpret. Ethan leaned back, stroking his beard thoughtfully. This was no ordinary delivery. It was a mission. And somehow, he was chosen. "Why now?" he asked. "Why today?" "Because," Lena said softly, "it's Christmas morning. Santa travels the galaxy tonight. If it doesn't reach him, the gifts won't get delivered." Ethan's mind spun. The twins believed in Santa, but what if there was some truth behind it? Humans, he knew, were capable of extraordinary things when they tried. Maybe this was one of those moments. He stood up, dusting off his hands. "All right," he said. "We're going to do this. But I warn you if this is some prank." "It's not!" both girls shouted together, their faces earnest. Ethan shook his head, chuckling despite himself. The twins' excitement was contagious. He had not felt this alive in years. Not since he first landed on Mars. There was something about them, their belief in possibility, that sparked a sense of adventure he had long buried under routines. "First," he said, "we need to get out of here. The terrain is rough, and we can't use the usual hover lanes. Too many drones and patrols." He grabbed his coat, adjusted his utility belt, and led the way outside. The twins followed, carrying the glowing package carefully between them. The sun rose higher, casting long shadows over the Martian cliffs. Ethan looked out over his ranch. The vast stretches of land, the grazing livestock, the domed barns, and for the first time in years, he felt a thrill. Today, his quiet life would change. He didn't know exactly how, but he sensed adventure in every gust of wind, in every distant ridge. As they prepared the small hover sled for departure, Ethan glanced at the twins. "You two better hold on tight," he said. "If we're going to deliver this, it won't be easy. But I have a feeling humans were made for challenges like this." Lila and Lena grinned, their eyes shining. "We knew you'd say that," Lila said. "Humans never give up." And with that, the solitary wealthy rancher, the two determined twins, and the mysterious package set off across the red Martian plains, leaving behind the safety of routine and stepping into the unknown. Little did they know, this journey would test their courage, their wit, and their humanity in ways no AI, no alien, and no machine could ever match. For Ethan Calloway, this Christmas morning would mark the beginning of a story that would prove, once again, that humans clever, brave, and stubborn could achieve what no other being in the galaxy could. Ethan Calloway's hover sled hummed softly as it skimmed over the crimson Martian plains. Lila and Lena sat side by side, clutching the glowing package tightly between them. Dust swirled around the sled, catching the early sunlight and making the twins' wide eyes sparkle with excitement and worry. For Ethan, the hum of the hover sled was soothing. It reminded him of the early days on Mars, when he had to test every machine himself, learning to trust his hands and mind more than any AI or autopilot. He glanced at the twins and smiled. "You two ready for a real adventure?" Lena nodded vigorously, her curls bouncing. "We're ready." "Are you?" I guess, Ethan said, a small grin forming. But this isn't going to be easy. That package you brought me? It's not ordinary. And the journey ahead? Even I can't predict all the problems. The twins looked at each other, then back at Ethan. We know, Lila said. But we trust you. Humans always find a way. Ethan chuckled softly. The twins' faith in humans was almost touching. Maybe even dangerous, but it was also inspiring. The first challenge appeared sooner than expected. As they approached the northern cliffs of the ranch, a cluster of rogue mining drones came into view. They were old models, left behind by a long-abandoned corporation. But they still patrolled the area, scanning for intruders. The drones detected movement and immediately began moving toward them, their lights flashing red. Not good, Ethan muttered. Hold on tight. He adjusted the hoversled's controls, dipping low to avoid the drone's sensors. But the drones were programmed for persistence. A red light flashed from one of them, and Ethan realized it was locking onto the sled. Can't we just tell them to go away? Lila asked nervously. Ethan shook his head. No machine obeys orders it doesn't understand or hasn't been programmed for. This is why humans are better. He leaned forward, manually adjusting the sled's trajectory, weaving through a narrow canyon between two cliffs. The drones tried to follow, their heavy thrusters kicking up clouds of Martian dust. But Ethan's instinct and experience guided him. Humans could improvise, and that made all the difference. After a tense few minutes, Ethan managed to shake off the drones by diving into a hidden ravine, out of their sensor range. Lila and Lena clutched the package, their faces pale, but smiling. You did it, Lena exclaimed. Ethan smirked. Humans always find a way. The twins giggled, but their celebration was short-lived. The next challenge awaited. The Martian weather. The sky darkened as they climbed higher toward the ridges leading to the spaceport. Dust storms were common on Mars, but this one was unusually strong. Ethan adjusted the sled's shields, turning on emergency stabilizers. The wind howled, pushing against them with enough force to knock the sled sideways. Lila held on tightly, her small hands gripping the package. This storm, it's really strong. I know, Ethan said over the wind. But storms are nothing humans can't face. We adapt. We survive. Watch me. He leaned into the controls, feeling the sled's balance in his hands, responding to every gust of wind. The twins watched, amazed at how calm he remained. How confident. In that moment, they understood the truth behind their father's words. Humans really could overcome challenges. No machine could. Hours passed as they navigated through the storm. The twins grew tired, but Ethan encouraged them. Keep your focus. Don't panic. Humans never panic. We find a solution. Finally, the storm began to ease as they reached a high ridge overlooking the Martian spaceport. Its domes glimmered in the fading sunlight, a mix of steel and glass structures designed for interstellar trade and travel. Ethan exhaled, relieved. They had survived the first major obstacle, but the spaceport brought a new problem: bureaucracy. Even on Mars, bureaucracy was universal. Traffic controls monitored every incoming and outgoing vessel. Any unregistered craft would be stopped, questioned, and possibly detained. Ethan could see patrol drones lining the entrance, checking IDs and cargo manifests. We can't just land there, Ethan said, frowning. They'll stop us. The twins looked worried. What do we do? Leela asked. Ethan's mind raced. There was no time to go back, and the package couldn't wait. Then he remembered something: a long-abandoned prototype rocket, hidden in one of the old hangars at the edge of the spaceport. It wasn't on any current registry. Not active. Not monitored. Perfect. Follow me, Ethan said. The twins watched as Ethan maneuvered the sled toward the hangar. Dust swirled around them again. But this time, it felt different. Hopeful. Exciting. Inside the hangar, Ethan activated the rocket's systems, checking each module with practiced precision. The rocket wasn't fast, not compared to modern interstellar craft. But it was reliable, and humans could handle reliability in ways machines couldn't. Is it safe? Lena asked. Ethan smiled. Safe enough. It'll get us past the traffic control. After that, it's up to us. They loaded the glowing package carefully into the rocket's storage compartment. Ethan checked the coordinates encoded on the package. The patterns shifted in response to his touch, unlocking new routes. Humans were the key, the package seemed to say, and Ethan felt a strange pride in being chosen. As they prepared for takeoff, the twins watched Ethan with admiration. How did you know all this? Lila asked. Ethan shrugged. Experience. Humans learn from mistakes. We improvise. We adapt. Machines, they can't do that. The rocket lifted off smoothly, leaving the Martian surface behind. The red plains stretched below them, the dust storms now only tiny swirls in the distance. The twins felt a thrill they had never known before, the kind of adventure their father must have hoped they would find. But adventure, as Ethan knew well, always came with challenges. Midway through the first orbital checkpoint, the rocket's sensors picked up an anomaly. A rogue satellite spinning out of control, heading directly toward them. Brace yourselves, Ethan shouted. The twins gripped the sides of their seats as Ethan's hands flew over the controls. He calculated the trajectory, making tiny adjustments in real time. No AI could have reacted this quickly or intuitively. With a sharp maneuver, he guided the rocket past the satellite, the twins' hearts pounding in their chests. That was close, Lena gasped. Ethan nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. Humans never give up. We find a way. As they entered a stable orbit, the package's glow intensified. Ethan realized it wasn't just a delivery. It was a test. Every obstacle, every storm, every rogue object had been a chance to prove that humans could succeed where others might fail. Lila leaned forward, eyes shining. See, Lena? We told you humans could do it. Ethan smiled quietly to himself. The twins were right. Humans could always find a way through courage, ingenuity, and determination. And this mission, impossible as it seemed, was becoming a testament to that truth. But even as hope filled the cabin, Ethan knew the next challenges would be harder. Beyond Mars lay the vast expanse of space, unpredictable and full of danger. Yet, for the first time in years, he didn't feel fear. He felt purpose, and with the twins at his side, he knew that no matter what the universe threw at them, they would face it together. For Ethan Calloway, Christmas morning had transformed into something extraordinary. From a quiet life on a solitary ranch, he was now part of a mission that could reach across worlds. And as the rocket climbed higher into orbit, the twins' laughter and excitement reminded him why humans were truly remarkable. Because they never gave up, even when the odds seemed impossible. The universe was vast, the challenges many, and the mission far from over. But Ethan knew one thing for certain. Humans always find a way. Ethan Calloway sat in the pilot's seat of the old prototype rocket, his hands steady on the controls. Outside, the blackness of space stretched endlessly, dotted with stars that shone brighter than any sun he had ever known. Lila and Lena sat behind him, their faces pressed to the small viewport, wide-eyed with wonder. The Martian surface was now a tiny red dot far below them, disappearing into the distance as they raced toward the orbital highway. For Ethan, space travel was nothing new, but this mission was different. It wasn't just about getting from point A to point B. It was about delivering a package, a mysterious, glowing package, meant for Santa, wherever he might be. And according to the twins, no machine or AI could complete the task. Only a human could. Are we going to be okay? Lena asked, her voice small but curious. Ethan smiled at her. We'll be fine. Just remember, humans find a way, even when things look impossible. The twins nodded, holding the package tightly. Its glow pulsed softly, as if it recognized Ethan's touch and the determination of all three of them. But the universe, Ethan knew, rarely made things easy. Their first challenge came as they approached the main orbital space traffic control point. The station was massive, a rotating hub where ships from Mars, Earth, and other colonies passed through on regulated schedules. The system was designed to prevent collisions and keep order, but it also meant that unauthorized craft could be delayed or refused entry. Ethan frowned at the sensors. They'll stop us. No registered craft can enter this sector without clearance. And this rocket isn't on any list. Lila and Lina exchanged worried glances. What do we do? Lila asked. Ethan leaned back, thinking fast. His mind ran through every option, every trick he had learned from years on Mars and in orbit. Then he remembered the old space charts tucked away in a secure compartment on the rocket. They showed unmonitored gravitational slingshots that could propel a ship past checkpoints without detection. Dangerous. Yes, but humans thrived on danger. Follow me, he said, more to himself than to the twins. We're taking the cosmic shortcut. Lina tilted her head. Shortcut? Ethan pointed to the charts. It's a route only humans could figure out. Machines don't see the possibilities. They only follow rules. We, however, can improvise, and this will get us past the station without being stopped. The twins' eyes widened. That's amazing, Lila whispered. Ethan didn't answer. He focused on the controls, plotting the trajectory carefully. The shortcut involved weaving through a field of small asteroids, using their gravity to slingshot the rocket at high speed toward the far edge of the orbital sector. One wrong move, and they could collide or be detected. Hold on tight, Ethan shouted. The rocket dipped sharply as it approached the first asteroid. Dust and ice particles whirled past, creating streaks of light in the darkness. Lila and Lina clutched the package, their knuckles white, but their eyes sparkled with excitement. Ethan maneuvered the rocket with precision, banking around each asteroid, using gravity to accelerate while avoiding detection. It was a delicate dance, one that required intuition, experience, and split-second decisions. A machine could follow programmed instructions, but humans could adapt mid-flight, predicting the unpredictable. Minutes stretched like hours, but finally, the rocket cleared the asteroid field. Ethan exhaled slowly, wiping sweat from his brow. We made it, Lina said, a mixture of relief and awe in her voice. Ethan nodded. Humans find a way. Always. But the shortcut, while clever, had an unexpected side effect. The rocket's sensors detected an anomaly ahead. A drifting cargo pod. Spinning uncontrollably. It had been abandoned long ago, likely during a failed transport mission, but its trajectory intersected theirs, and a collision could be disastrous. Ethan adjusted the rocket's course slightly, but the pod began to spin faster, drawn by the gravitational pull of a nearby moon. He calculated the vectors in his head, relying on intuition as much as math. Hang on, he said. This is going to be tricky. The twins gripped the package, eyes wide. Ethan's hands moved over the controls, making rapid adjustments. The rocket tilted, spun, and then surged forward, narrowly missing the spinning pod. Dust and debris scattered in every direction, illuminated by distant starlight. That was close, Lila gasped. Ethan nodded. Close calls are part of the adventure. Humans handle them. Machines, not so much. The twins laughed nervously, their fear turning into exhilaration. They had never been on such a journey before. Every twist, every challenge, made them realize the truth their father had tried to teach them. Humans were special, resourceful, brave, indomitable. After the pod incident, the shortcut propelled them past the orbital station undetected. Ethan allowed himself a small smile. It had worked. Their unconventional approach had succeeded where strict rules and protocols might have failed. As they settled into a steadier course, Ethan took a moment to study the package. Its glow had intensified, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat, as if sensing the triumph of human ingenuity. The girls watched him carefully, as if the package and Ethan were connected in some mysterious way. Do you think Santa will be able to use this? Lina asked. Ethan shrugged. I don't know. But I do know this. Your father designed it knowing humans could handle challenges. No machine could. And we just proved it. The twins beamed, their eyes shining with pride and hope. We knew it, Lila said. Humans can do anything, Ethan smiled. There was truth in that, even if it sounded bold. Humans could adapt, improvise, and overcome obstacles that seemed impossible. The universe was vast, full of dangers and uncertainties, but humans had a gift no other species or machine possessed: creativity combined with courage. Hours passed as they traveled deeper into space. The shortcut had saved them time, but it also brought new challenges: the gravitational forces of uncharted moons, tiny debris fields, and sudden solar flares made navigation tricky. Each obstacle tested Ethan's skill, his calmness, and his ability to think ahead. The twins observed in awe, realizing that human intuition was the real superpower. During a brief pause in a quiet patch of space, Ethan allowed the twins to relax. He pointed out distant stars, planets, and other spacecraft passing by. "Space is beautiful," he said softly, "and dangerous. But humans, we thrive in it. We adapt." Lena leaned forward. "I never knew humans were this special," she whispered. Ethan looked at her. "We don't always know it ourselves, but when faced with challenges, when others fail, that's when humans shine." Their moment of peace was short-lived. The rocket's sensors suddenly beeped urgently. A massive debris cluster loomed ahead, the remains of a destroyed satellite belt. The cluster was too dense to navigate safely, and the gravitational pull was unpredictable. Ethan's eyes narrowed. "This is going to be tricky," he muttered. "But humans always find a way." He calculated a new trajectory, using the cluster's edges to slingshot the rocket through tiny gaps, leveraging gravitational pulls like a cosmic playground. The twins held on, hearts pounding, as rocks and metal shards flashed past the viewport. It was dangerous, exhilarating, and exactly the kind of test humans were meant to face. Finally, the rocket emerged on the other side of the debris cluster, intact and unharmed. The twins cheered, their fear replaced with exhilaration. Ethan allowed himself a small sigh of relief. Lila hugged the package. "We're getting closer to Santa," she exclaimed. "Yes," Ethan said, smiling at the twins' excitement. "And every step of the way, we've proven something important. Humans can do things no other species or machine can. We think. We adapt. We persevere. That's why we're special." As the stars stretched endlessly ahead, Ethan felt a sense of purpose he hadn't experienced in years. This mission wasn't just about delivering a package. It was about showing the universe what humans could do when they refused to give up, no matter the odds. The twins watched him with admiration. For them, Ethan had become more than a pilot or a rancher. He was proof that humans, with courage and creativity, could achieve the impossible. And somewhere deep in the unknown reaches of space, the legend of Santa awaited a figure who relied on humans for challenges too great for machines. Ethan knew that every problem they solved, every risk they took, brought them one step closer to completing their extraordinary mission. For Ethan Calloway, Lila, and Lena, the journey was far from over. But with human ingenuity, courage, and determination guiding them, they were ready for whatever the universe could throw their way. Humans, Ethan thought, always find a way. Ethan Calloway gripped the controls of the rocket as it hurtled through the blackness of space. Lila and Lena sat behind him, their eyes glued to the glowing package, which pulsed faintly, as if sensing the challenges ahead. They had successfully navigated the asteroid cluster and the orbital checkpoints. But Ethan knew the hardest trials were still to come. The stars outside were beautiful, but deceptive. Space was quiet, calm-looking, yet unpredictable. Ethan had traveled through it many times, but each journey held new surprises. He glanced at the twins. "All right," he said, "things are about to get tricky again. Are you ready?" "We're ready," Lila said, her voice full of excitement. Lena nodded vigorously, gripping the package tightly. Their first test appeared sooner than expected. A rogue asteroid field loomed ahead, dense and irregular. Some rocks were as small as a car, others larger than their rocket. Sensors beeped urgently, warning of gravitational anomalies and sudden shifts in trajectory. Ethan leaned forward. "Hold on tight, girls. We're going in." The rocket shuddered as they entered the field. Rocks scraped past the hull, and the twins gasped at the sheer size and speed of the asteroids. Ethan's hands moved swiftly, adjusting thrusters, banking around dangerous clusters, and predicting paths with instinct and calculation combined. "This is amazing," Lena whispered, awe in her voice. Ethan smiled, though he didn't let his attention wander. "Humans survive because we adapt. Watch closely." The rocket lurched as a massive rock suddenly shifted, blocking their path. Ethan's eyes narrowed. He had to think fast. He calculated the angles, adjusted the speed, and maneuvered the rocket through a narrow gap, just inches away from disaster. Dust and debris tumbled around them in a chaotic dance. Lila clutched the package, her knuckles white. "You did it," she exclaimed. Ethan nodded. Humans always find a way. Even as they celebrated, the next obstacle appeared. A solar flare, a burst of energy from a nearby star that could disable electronics and sensors. The rocket's hull was strong, but the flare threatened the navigation system. "Ethan," Lena shouted, "what do we do?" He quickly switched to manual controls, relying on instincts and experience rather than sensors. The package glowed brighter, almost as if it sensed their determination. Ethan piloted the rocket with careful precision, tilting and banking to minimize exposure. The flare passed, leaving them unscathed. Though the twins' hearts were still racing. "That was close," Ethan said calmly. "But humans can handle it. Machines might have failed." The twins exchanged glances, realizing the truth in his words. Human creativity and courage could solve problems that no algorithm or autopilot could. They had witnessed it firsthand, and it filled them with awe and respect. As they continued, the rocket's sensors detected another anomaly. A drifting alien craft. It appeared abandoned, its hull scarred and smoking, floating slowly through the void. Ethan's brow furrowed. They had to navigate around it carefully, but it also presented an opportunity. "Girls," he said, "this is a chance to use some human ingenuity. We can navigate closer and study it without touching it. Maybe there's something useful inside." The twins leaned forward eagerly. "Can we?" Lila asked. Ethan nodded. "Yes, watch and learn." He guided the rocket closer, using the craft's rotation to slingshot them through a narrow path between debris and thrusters. The twins gasped at every close call, but Ethan remained calm, steady, and precise. "There," Ethan said, pointing at a panel on the alien craft. "That's a data storage unit. If we can retrieve it later, it might help us with navigation and communication." Humans solve problems by looking for opportunities, even in danger. The twins nodded, absorbing every lesson. They realized that courage alone wasn't enough. Humans combined courage with creativity and careful thinking. But the most difficult challenge came next. As they approached a remote asteroid station, an old trading hub abandoned centuries ago, the rocket's engines began to falter, warning lights blinked, and the hull trembled with unusual vibrations. Ethan quickly assessed the situation. "Girls," he said, "we have a mechanical problem. The engines are overheating. We need to make repairs in orbit, and fast." The twins' eyes widened. "We can't go back," Lena said. "Santa." "We're almost there," Ethan nodded. "I know. Humans fix problems that seem impossible. Watch and learn." He suited up and prepared for a spacewalk. The twins watched nervously as he opened the rocket's hatch and stepped into the void. The stars stretched endlessly around him, and the asteroid station loomed nearby, silent and imposing. Ethan floated toward the damaged engine, using magnetic boots and tools to inspect the machinery. Sparks flew as he worked, but he remained calm, calculating every move. Human hands, guided by experience and quick thinking, repaired circuits, realigned thrusters, and stabilized the engine. Inside the rocket, the twins held their breath. "Do you think he can do it?" Lila whispered. He has to, Lena said. Humans always find a way. Minutes felt like hours. But finally, Ethan completed the repair. The engine hummed steadily, and the warning lights turned off. He floated back to the rocket's hatch, giving the twins a thumbs up. See? He said, climbing back inside. Humans fix problems. We don't panic. We adapt. The twins cheered, hugging the glowing package. They had witnessed true human resilience, and their admiration for Ethan and humans in general had grown even stronger. As they prepared to leave the asteroid station, Ethan reflected on the journey so far. Every challenge had tested them. Rogue asteroids, solar flares, abandoned alien craft, engine failure. But humans had overcome each one with ingenuity, courage, and determination. Lila leaned toward him. Ethan, your dad was right. Humans are special. Ethan smiled. Not just special. We survive. We adapt. And we find a way, no matter what. The twins nodded, feeling a sense of hope and inspiration. They realized that the universe, with all its dangers and unknowns, could be navigated by humans who dared to think, create, and act with courage. Their journey continued as they left the asteroid station behind, the rocket gliding smoothly through space. The package pulsed softly, almost as if it was responding to the humans aboard. Ethan wondered if Santa, or whoever awaited them, could sense their determination and skill. Hours passed, filled with quiet conversation and study. Ethan taught the twins basic navigation tricks, emergency protocols, and the importance of careful observation. They learned quickly, absorbing every lesson. Humans, Ethan explained, thrived not because they were the strongest or fastest, but because they could think creatively, improvise, and persevere when others might fail. As night fell over distant planets and stars, Ethan allowed himself a rare moment of reflection. He had chosen solitude for many years, believing it brought peace. But now, with Lila and Lena at his side, he realized that shared challenges, teamwork, and purpose gave life new meaning. Girls, he said softly, this mission isn't just about the package. It's about proving that humans can do extraordinary things. That's the real gift of this journey. The twins looked at him, eyes wide. We understand, Lila said. We see it now. Ethan smiled, feeling a quiet pride. The mission had already succeeded in one way, teaching the next generation that human ingenuity and courage could overcome the universe's toughest trials. Yet, he knew the final leg of the journey would be even more dangerous. Santa's location was unknown. The route was uncharted. And the universe held surprises that no one could predict. But Ethan, Lila, and Lena were ready. Humans, Ethan thought, were built for the impossible. And as the rocket continued its flight through the stars, the glowing package between the twins' hands pulsed with a rhythm that seemed to echo the heartbeat of human courage itself. This mission, Ethan knew, would be remembered not for the distance traveled or the obstacles faced, but for the spirit of humans. Clever, brave, determined, and never giving up, no matter how vast the universe or how great the challenges. Ethan Calloway guided the rocket through the final stretch of space, his eyes fixed on the glowing coordinates the package had revealed. Lila and Lena sat beside him, their hands still clutching the mysterious gift. The universe around them stretched endlessly, a sea of stars, distant planets, and drifting asteroids. Yet for all its vastness, Ethan felt a growing sense of purpose. This is it, Ethan said quietly. We're almost there. The twins leaned forward eagerly. Do you think Santa is real? Lila asked, her voice a mix of hope and curiosity. Ethan smiled. I don't know. But even if he isn't exactly as the stories say, someone, something, is waiting for this package. And we're the only ones who could get it there. The rocket hummed steadily, the repaired engines keeping a precise course. Ethan's hands moved with practiced skill, adjusting for subtle gravitational pulls and energy fluctuations. The shortcut they had taken through space had saved time, but it also brought them near uncharted regions. No sensors. No AI. No other humans had traveled this path. Only intuition, creativity, and courage had carried them this far. Why did my dad make this package like this? Lena asked. Why only humans can deliver it? Ethan looked at her. Because humans have something special. We can solve problems no machine or alien could. We think, we adapt, and we never give up. Your dad knew that humans were the best choice. The twins nodded, absorbing every word. They realized their father's trust in humanity was not misplaced. As they approached the coordinates, the rocket's sensors began picking up an unusual signal. A large, orbiting structure appeared in the distance, unlike any station Ethan had seen before. Its surface was covered in shimmering panels, and strange lights pulsed rhythmically across its hull. The package's glow intensified as they drew nearer. That must be it, Ethan said. Hold on, girls. We'll need to approach carefully. The station was alive with motion. Small craft moved in and out of docking bays, and holographic signs floated above airlocks. Yet none of the station's automated systems interfered with their approach. It was as if the package itself had opened the way. Ethan guided the rocket toward a docking bay, carefully aligning with the station's magnetic locks. The rocket settled smoothly, and the twins clapped softly, relief and excitement shining in their eyes. This is incredible, Lila whispered. We really made it. Ethan nodded. Humans always find a way. The docking bay doors opened, revealing a tall, robed figure waiting for them. It was Santa, or at least the human legend they had believed in. His eyes twinkled with kindness and wisdom, and his presence radiated warmth, even in the coldness of space. Welcome, Ethan Calloway, Santa said, his voice calm and deep. And welcome, Lila and Lena. I have been expecting you. The twins' eyes widened. It's really him, Lena breathed. Santa smiled, nodding at the package. And you brought exactly what was needed. Your father trusted humanity to complete this task. And you have proven that trust well. Ethan stepped forward, handing over the glowing package. The moment his hands left it, the lines of light shifted, spreading across the station like rivers of energy. Holographic screens lit up, showing coordinates, gift routes, and interstellar aid stations. The package contained the data needed to continue Santa's mission across the galaxy, ensuring that every child and colony would receive their gifts. You see, Santa said, turning to the twins, this mission is not just about gifts. It is about hope, ingenuity, and perseverance. Only humans could navigate challenges like yours, asteroid fields, rogue satellites, engine failures, and unpredictable space hazards, and deliver this package intact. Lila and Lena exchanged glances, pride and amazement filling their faces. They realized that humans were truly extraordinary, capable of achieving what no other species or machine could. Ethan felt a quiet satisfaction. For years, he had lived in solitude, tending to his Martian ranch and trusting only himself. But this journey had reminded him why humans were special. Creativity, courage, and adaptability, these were the qualities that set them apart. And he had seen them shine in the most difficult of circumstances. Santa gestured toward the twins. Your father understood this. That is why he made you the guardians of this package. And now, you have proven that humans, even young humans, can achieve the impossible. The twins beamed, their hearts full of pride. We couldn't have done it without Ethan, Lila said. Ethan smiled modestly. We all did it together. That's what humans do. We work as a team. We adapt. And we never give up. Santa nodded approvingly. Indeed. That is the essence of humanity. And that is why you were chosen, not because of strength alone, nor intelligence alone, but because humans combine skill, creativity, courage, and heart in a way no other being can. The twins hugged Ethan tightly, and even he felt a warmth he hadn't experienced in years. For the first time, his solitary existence felt connected to something larger, something meaningful. Santa led them through the station, showing them how the data from the package would help guide fleets of ships, send resources to colonies, and deliver joy across the stars. Every route, every coordinate, was now safe and efficient, thanks to the humans who had delivered the package. This, Santa said, gesturing to the network of glowing maps, is a testament to the human spirit. Without your courage and ingenuity, many of these systems would have failed. Humans truly are exceptional. The twins gazed at the screens in awe. We never knew humans could do so much, Lena said softly. Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. Humans are capable of amazing things when we try. That's why your father trusted us. And now, we've proven it. Santa smiled. And now, your mission is complete. The package is delivered, and the work it contained will continue to bring hope and joy across the galaxy. But remember this: humans will always be needed for tasks that require creativity, courage, and perseverance. The twins nodded, understanding the truth behind his words. They had seen it firsthand, and their respect for humans, their own species, had grown immeasurably. Ethan felt a deep sense of fulfillment. This journey had tested him, challenged him, and reminded him of the power of human ingenuity. For years, he had believed that solitude brought peace, but now he realized that purpose, shared challenges, and the chance to prove what humans could do were far more rewarding. Thank you, Santa, Ethan said quietly, for trusting us with this mission. Santa nodded. No, Ethan, thank you. You and these brave young humans have reminded me and the universe why humanity is extraordinary. The twins smiled, clutching the memory of this moment in their hearts. They knew that humans could face any challenge, overcome any obstacle, and achieve the impossible. The universe was vast and full of danger, but humans would always find a way. As Ethan, Lila, and Lena prepared to return to Mars, Santa handed them a small token. A glowing star-shaped charm. A reminder, he said, that humans, no matter how ordinary they may seem, can achieve extraordinary things. Keep it close, and never forget what you are capable of. The rocket lifted off from the station, the stars shining brightly around them. Ethan guided the craft with skill and calm, the twins cheering quietly beside him. The journey home would be easier now. The major obstacles behind them, but the lessons they had learned would stay with them forever. This has been incredible, Lila said. Yes, Ethan agreed. We've proven something important. Humans are clever, courageous, and determined. And that's why we always find a way. The twins nodded, their eyes bright with hope and excitement. They had been part of something extraordinary, a journey that tested their courage, faith, and ingenuity. And through it all, they had seen the best of humanity. As the red plains of Mars appeared below, Ethan felt a quiet joy. He would return to his ranch, to the solitude he loved. But now, with a new understanding, humans were capable of greatness. And even a solitary human could make a galaxy-wide difference. The rocket touched down gently, and the twins jumped out, hugging the Martian soil beneath their boots. Ethan followed, smiling at the twins' excitement. They had completed the impossible. They had delivered the package to Santa, and in doing so, had proven that humans were truly remarkable. Lila held up the glowing star-shaped charm. We'll never forget this, she said. Ethan looked at them, feeling a warmth he hadn't known in years. Neither will I, he said. Humans always find a way, and now, so do you. And with that, the three of them stood together on the Martian plains, under the pale glow of the distant sun, knowing that their journey had not just delivered a package but had delivered proof of the human spirit itself. Clever, brave, resilient, and unstoppable. The universe was vast. The challenges were many. But humans, Ethan, Lila, Lina, and countless others would always find a way.